Les Sylvester. You're welcome to this early morning and afternoon, evening somewhere, and heaven on earth. Here is a great city. I'm broadcasting live from Konya here in Temple, where the land of the living have a great testimony of what life actually and spirit contains. Here it is, the Lord that creates is actually here and making known to you some of the few activities that is happening and the newness of the Lord in the shape of the heavens. Here it is, the promise in heaven that cannot fail it gardens because there's someone who's really living. And from among the living, there should be a leader, a hero. Not just everyone is among the living, but there's a leader in all things. Here it is. I have a very few messages to cast across here in so much that there's a whole lot I want to talk about, but I will make it in a very short statement. It's raising like that's drizzling right now. I've been talking about few things here. I will also take a few conversation here in some of the scriptures that are just left there without understanding. Here, there's when creation begins, you begin to understand all those things. And the one who creates, or the Lord who makes or perform it, that the others really understand, is the same people. Now, if I reflect back to someone's here, someone who's doing the listening, then let's take a quick look at this on this very background. And we take a few presentation. Right after this, I'll be talking about this. Yes, talk about it a little while and then we take a presentation. And this had to start with the same people who prepare the land. It is the same white people who prepare the land for us here. So they have always done this. They are as angels. So you are as an angel. So you have to receive of your own angel that works. That is what I'm saying. So if you just look at something as creation or anything that has to do with creation, anything that preserves creation, you cannot go against that law. You have to receive that thing, and that thing will show you why they keep it or reserve. And so we would have pause, act on certain things, and now when the understanding comes, you will know why. So, indeed, if there should be any activities or business somewhere, you should have what? Greek, or you should have light, the energy that can move or steam your system. You have to have a land prepared already. The Lord has created it. So this is where I actually want to say creation begins. But as it is being created or as something is happening now, newness of something, other things are also falling apart because that is their time of their falling. So when you are expecting good on your side, it's because you have already worked out the good or hang it out somewhere unto the Lord. And that you are expecting the Lord to return to you and to what? The great answers. Not somebody is wishing. You what they are. Here, we've been talking about where do you get water? In this place, the same people, the same place as the same land that is of the living have made this because it is given to them originally. And now from the same original piece of land, or what we call it, the green, as you can see, a rich land. Wow. The Lord has been so faithful. And faithfulness actually means spirit continuity, spirit working, not just broadcasting anything without having or showing up anything. You have to show up what you got. And what you got is of the Spirit of the Lord, is of heaven. Here it is. So heaven is not as somebody tried to understand. Heaven is actually up there. And what is underneath the heavens? And in the whole universe. So when you are on earth and you mention universe, that is all. Universe simply sums up all the things in the whole thing, like you want to appear in your numbers. That is generalizing as a population of maybe things or people. Who understands? Unless understanding comes. What am I saying? I'm making that already, not you. But what am I talking about? Creation. What am I presenting to you? This whole thing that lies in state of your eyes. I made known to you the same white people who led us to that place. They are the same people who created also into this place. They have also led the land to what? Preparation of what newness is about. They made the machines and plowed the place and leveled the whole grounds, whether it happened or not. I am the same person showing the cocoa. And now for the cocoa to have waters like this, it is not a dead water I showed you. This is not a dead water. But when I came first, I know there's some kind of energy, sort of energy here. Those things are not what you understand, unless there's a spirit or an angel that go before you. So that angel will have always been on the lead, showing the path, and you following will also say you are learning, you are trying to ask for things or guidance. And that the angel spotting you from a distance will know who is really wise indeed. because the Lord cannot present to us the world or a message that is coming from universe or from heaven somewhere, and that there will be no man to receive his message. At least someone will receive as it pour it, as it the rain pour it out their righteousness. It says the earth must also open up a righteous person who also receive it. It's the same people like when righteousness opens from heaven or pouring out, the earth also would have somebody at least. It means someone on this mortal human level. That's what it means by earth, to say a mortal. When spirits are opened, a mortal or human or mortal person, like a mortal being should what? Should receive of the spirit. If not, it's incomplete. It means that if the Lord has created the flesh and had nobody receive of his spirit, it is never what connecting. So out of spirit, we are communicating from one end to the other. So from east communicating to what? To the ends of the earth, the world, which is also the west. Or from the middle somewhere. Yes, from the middle of the heavens, someone is communicating also to some other places underneath the waters or the ocean, the sea. Right after this, I'll be making a very short presentation. But I need to talk about little things that concerns all that I'm saying. This has been created. Naturally, there was no waters here. Originally, there hasn't been any waters here. But as the course of activities of development and shaping and reshaping land or building nations or development that concerns a place or the sanctuary of the Lord had led to what? Creation of such thing. Because where do you find any soil that can support waters when it's an overflow of waters from maybe the community or the towns or drainage and having it a reservoir here? And this actually is going to also support what? Yet other activities. And those activities are not far from reach. They are just side by side. They are just side by side. So who walk side by side with the Lord? Because if that's still waters, and that's why I say it's still waters. So wherever you place any creation of the Lord, you will still find the answers as original. Having the waters created. But what led to the creation of the waters? This is it. You know, in Egypt, you have the canal and all of that. Most of those things were created. As the rivers here were already there as what? Just a trail, like a hunter's trail. And later got it what? Follow it up and overflow to what? Become what it is in the rivers. So it's into rivers as you hear, but had been led to what? Some kind of or sort of activity that nobody understands how. But the how is the result that we are seeing now. So that you based on what is available to you now. As an artist, you become so resourceful to the environment and everything that is right before your eyes should be what put to use. And put it into use, that is you practice what is what? Creation. You live by the creation. You live as to getting the understanding of the Lord. It means you have to build something out of the same thing you have. So taking off the Lord, what is of the Lord, and building with or developing or maneuvering it or creating or just forming out of the same thing of the Lord, it means you are doing what? You are following the right path. Because nothing shall you pick up on this earth that should lead you to any wrong side. Very well, if we need to understand one thing here, this whole earth that we walk on or we stand on is in the heavens. Now, on this very platform or the planet on which we dwell as rock, or as planet, is a rock. In the whole nutshell, you gotta look at it. There's something that you take out of the nut, and that you, after taking the seed of it or the nut, and then you now have what you call what? Shell. And you can call it shalaza. Because the same way it happened to coconut and stuff. But it's as this same earth where you can dig underneath the earth and you drill. And you get waters. At the same place, you have fire. You have so many other things taking, like a lot of activity taking place underneath this very same rock. It's one rock like this. But the Lord made it a rock and have many things packed on it as an architect of the holy heavens. He made this earth just for it to be multitasking purpose. That anything at all can dwell on this very earth once it supports life. And even dead things really are in the existence of what? Life. But just that for the time of the separation, you will now begin to understand why the Lord had separated this to this. This same place we are now had made so many things over the road. because the things or the pit, this as a pit. Somebody might think it's a pit of hell, but is there no life in that hell? But to a certain extent, this place could not become a place of living for somebody. But to a certain level of expertise, somebody will live in it or probably dwell in it. Such a person is one we say is the devil himself or whatever you term as. It means a master of a particular area you cannot go. It means it's beyond that understanding of what man can dwell on. And so when such a person is a master of that place, and then you are asked to be sent to that place without being a master or knowing anything about that place, it is then that it becomes what? Hell, in pain for somebody in suffering. For the scripture had said that even in hell, he that carries life, the Lord will still be with him into that hell. Why is it like that? So every side you think so well that this earth could not become a thing that we worship because you are not dwelling on earth alone. And it's different tribes, religion, and culture, and all of that. So if everyone pick up the same earth or rock and worship it as a god, then whose God is of this earth or whose God is the earth? Now the same Bible is saying, then the name of the Lord is a husband. It is the maker of it, the husband. He is a husband to all the women. And his name shall be the God of the whole earth. He's the God of the whole earth. So that whoever worship in anything, if it's not been approved of by the Lord, you can say you claim. But that, let's take a look at one thing again in the site we're surveying. Assuming somebody claims the God should be waters for him, and they worship these waters, would they not dwell on any other thing on the surface of the rock? They would definitely eat something else. Now, if another person comes and claims that, oh, I am of the tree, so I'll worship the tree as a god, would it also not be another thing? So by the time we would have finished with everyone trying to have his God or what he served, it means a lot that there will be separation and misunderstanding. That is what led to what? The dispute between men or creatures. Now everyone begin to look at what? Everyone try to look into or you want to lick the sweetness of someone or like you understand what I'm saying? Just trying to say that you want to dwell on someone's good for your good. That is not. But if you are of the Lord Himself that created, why not create? You definitely have to create if you were given. That is what we ought to do. Not that we should be following just story, but put yourself in it. Involve in yourself is that the Lord has called you. So when you are chosen, you do that which is of what? The great people, the heroes, the legends, the mighty ones. When the Bible actually talks about creation, it is only when the Spirit of the Lord or the angel comes into the real work and action, or when there's understanding, which is the Spirit comes into real giving of what? Understanding to what the Lord has created from on high. There will be nobody to tell about it. You only hear it as books and story, and books will not lead us anywhere. Books are just what? Philosophy of somebody kept over there, or out of pain, somebody try to keep a memory. So the book is just a memory to either reprove pain or remind yourself of something in the past. But the Lord is not of such a person that is remind you of such a, but that you should become what? You are to be that person or you are to understand his ways. Now, when you begin to understand the ways of the Lord, it means you have been obedient to him. It means you are a holy one. It means you have done all things and have been justified by the Lord through what? Pain, affliction of all things. And that is why everything indeed is in connection. And now I'm going to talk about such things and what purpose is this, that if the white man should create a place like this, you can call it a pit of hell. But has the pit of hell no function in the days or activities of this day? So when someone is falling because he has disrespected or disobeyed the Lord of holiness and he is suffering, that day you will not suffer because you are on a different path. So don't follow after the pain of certain things. Because if anybody should be in pain, then it's the only one that made it, the strongest in the world. He is the one that you should say that he has actually. But he, the Lord said, he feels the pain. Even he, the Lord. Who is the Lord unto you, somebody? It is only when I tell you. But knowing my works, you shall know what the Lord is saying. I can assure you that if there be any heaven, I will be in the heavens. Or if there be any land of living, I will take you there. But you have to refrain from certain activities. You know, the Lord who had created it, I myself have created an excellent thing, but I didn't tell it as what. Certain things will just keep it in the keep. I will come and be worshiping things all over the world. Till when? Because if everyone or particle of this earth or ingredient of the farm should say I should worship all of them in their season, how do I make it? Yet I have endured all things. I have obeyed and believed it all. Yet it is only for a test that you may know what to throw away and what to keep. Thank you. I'll be right back at this break.